Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video today, because trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There are so many areas you need to become good at to become a good trader. Emotional mastery, chart reading, trading systems, money and trade management. So this video is just educational only to help you become a much better trader. Hey traders, obviously John Howley. Listen, I'm just doing a bit of a weekend review, or a bit of a Friday review on the indices, and we're gonna have a good look at what the overall market's doing for us. I can see I've just obviously brought the charts back to where it is right now, as in like just blank charts. This is the weekly chart to the right. I'm gonna squeeze this up for a couple of years, and I'm gonna have just a 3-month view on that. It's something, guys, that that I've been doing lately. I used to do before, but I just totally forgot. But just having a 3-month view, it helps me read the peaks and troughs. Like OI, obviously OI is on my list, because you can see it has like a nice bearish flag there. We get a nice drop down tomorrow, then it might be a nice little drop down through here. You know what I mean? So so technical analysis, guys, is the roadmap to success. It really is. And sometimes sometimes we just need to just believe in that and just take it with what it is. So let's actually just go through the indices. I want to talk about the indices now, the indexes, and show you what happened here. So obviously we ran up to the top up here, and we ran up here, and obviously we can see as we ran up to this level here, if I bring this chart over, if I bring this chart and I make this into an hourly chart, you can see the reason why what happened. Look at this here. So as it ran up, it popped up, and it popped up into this resistance level, okay, and then it came straight back down through there. So that's basically what what happened for the whole day, okay. It opened, it popped to the high side, it popped into a resistance level, and then suddenly came back and then sold off, and it sold off about sold off quite nicely towards, and that was mainly towards the end of the day. If I go to a smaller time frame, say a 30-minute chart, you can see here that majority of the day, it wasn't until the last hour that the market really started to come off. So yeah, so you can see that going on through there. Now looking at that, you can see what's happening through there. Looking on the hourly chart, guys, you can really see we're getting some major swings to the downside. Major swings to the downside. We do know that we're in this triangle pattern right now. Okay, we're in this movement to the high side. We had this moving down. If I do show let me bring this chart over here. Let me make this chart here an hourly chart, and let me show you this here. Look at this here. So if I squeeze up a little bit more, you can actually see what's happening. Okay, you can see. Look at the stochastics turning points here. There's turning point there as well too. And obviously you had little, look at that divergence there, clear divergence, right? And then suddenly it started coming off. You know, and so that's where we're at right now. We're back up the top here. So what is going to happen up the top here, guys? We don't know, right? But what's been happening lately is we've been getting some lower peaks and lower troughs on the hourly chart. I thought I'd just pause the video just then. I deleted it. So what you can see, guys, lately we've been making peak, trough, and now we're making another lower peak. So if that's the way it's going to go, guys, this thing is going to crush this level through here, just going to crush it, and then head straight back down. So that's what I believe may happen. Now if I go back to the daily chart, let me bring this up to the daily chart here, and let me see if I can just make these trend lines here just a bit more. Actually, no, I'll bring this up to the daily chart, and I'm just going to draw this trend line. I'm going to try and draw this trend line through where I think it's. So right there is the trend line. You can see where it bounced off this level here. It couldn't break below it then. It couldn't break below it then, and it couldn't break below it here. So this is the trend line here on the daily chart I like to use. Okay, on the daily chart, while I'm drawing my trend lines, I'm trying to find more like where didn't it close below, because if it closes below, then, you know, especially this line right here, right, you can see here, if I drew my trend line there and just extend it out a bit, drew my trend line right even there, right there, you can see it bounced off there, held it there, held it there, held it there, and held it there. As you can see, right, we held it all the way up. Okay, and then now you can see, right, we came all the way back down. So So with this one, guys, so this one you can actually see the market hit resistance, hit resistance, hit resistance, and now we're at this level now. Now let's actually go to the hourly chart. So now we're looking at the hourly chart. This is what we can see. Okay, we can see that we're right on that level through there as well too. We're squeezing up and squeezing up and squeezing up. But the market right now is simply saying it wants to go down. Now, the market's so volatile right now, we just don't know what's going to happen, right? But if you go to this chart here, you can see the volume wasn't as good as well too. And actually, most of the volume came in the last hour, by the way, guys. It is definitely showing a lot of weakness, especially on the hourly chart. On the hourly chart here, and you can see that there. Obviously, from the hourly chart perspective, let me bring this. Let me make this the hourly chart here, and I'll make this the daily chart, so you can see it. So you can see this is the daily chart. This is the hourly chart. You can see how we're making low peaks, low troughs. So low peaks, low troughs. Sellers are in control here. You know what I mean? Like sellers are in control. We're getting very big swings, but sellers are in control. We're still making these lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and this lower high right here is a lot lower than this one here compared to that one. Can you notice that there? Now this might be something that, yeah, but you have this peak here, and then we have a slight low peak, and then we have even a more gap between this low peak, and now we have even more of a gap at this lower peak. So as you can see, right, the gradient between the lower peaks is actually getting steeper and steeper. So that's actually saying, and especially this point through here, right, the sellers in control. Now, if the market opens up and rushes back up here, especially even on the hourly chart, guess what? We're blasting straight off. We're going to blast this high. Friday's going to blast it off through there. But what I see, guys, is that the market's still on this very lower peak, lower trough. Let's have a look at the daily chart, the Dow Jones chart here for a minute as well too. Okay, so we're looking on this Dow Jones chart here, and we can clearly see once again. Now, if I just, this is the hourly chart here, and we can clearly see that we actually have a bit of a trend line going down through there, right through there, as you can see. Right, it started up, there's up this point through here, and then that's that point through there on the hourly chart. So that's where it's been rejecting it on the hourly chart. You can see here that we made this trough down the bottom here, made this peak here, came down, made this low trough, coming back up, it's trying to make another low peak. Now, yes, we are hovering around this area of support level. We are definitely doing that. We're definitely hovering around that area of support. Yeah, so that's where we're at, sort of a bit of a do or die situation right now. We're definitely at a do or die situation, meaning we're at that. So if we do start to come down to the downside, we have a lot of support through here. If we start to break that, then that borrow scan is still going off. Then if we break that, then we have a good chance of getting down to the bottom here and moving forward. The market is very weak, guys. It's showing us it wants to keep going down. You know, as you can see on the daily chart, we had a rise, we had a drop, we had a rise, and then we came back down and sold off really quickly. So you can see even this day here, guys, you see how it's struggling to break above this week. This is the weekly trend line. Okay, on the daily chart, you can see how it's struggling to close below it. Struggling to close below it, and look at even today's bar, right, came down and closed there and bounced off there. So this whole area here, guys, is a very, very tight area for the Dow Jones. And you know, guys, it's showing a lot of strength but showing a lot of weakness. So we're in a bit of a do or die situation here. We really are. Same for the Nasdaq, and as you can see on the Nasdaq by looking at the hourly chart, guys, you can see on the hourly chart that, you know, we're still, once again, guys, on the hourly chart, what are we doing? We're creating these lower peaks and lower troughs, right? Lower peak, lower peak, lower peak, and lower peak, lower trough, lower trough. So it didn't really, yeah, you know, guys, this is obviously, it's showing a lot of weakness here. You know what I mean? We're still in this channel on the downside, showing a lot of weakness. So, you know, guys, it's definitely, obviously we're getting a lot of strength in the stochastics and we're getting a lot of support levels, but these sellers keep coming in control. Sellers keep knocking this down. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And looking at the Nasdaq as well too. Nasdaq's been doing the same thing on the hourly chart as well too, guys. We've been starting to really get some lower peaks, lower troughs, lower peaks, lower troughs. So it's a bit of a do or die situation, guys, in the market tonight. We just don't know what's going to happen tonight in the markets. You know, because obviously because what's happening here, we're at an area of major support and resistance levels. It's probably most people are like that as well too. Most people are saying, oh, we're just not sure, you know. If you see gold's been popping as well too, a little bit as well. What else do we have here? And then obviously oil has been getting hammered as well too. It's really interesting, guys, you know. I see I see where oil's gone to today, and I actually know someone who said, you know what, I'm gonna buy oil down here. I'm gonna buy oil down here, and you know, I'm buying it because it's a long-term buy and hold for me, and I'm buying it because a long-term buy and hold, and I have a lot more longer-term view of this. And this is a guy that teaches people to trade, by the way. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's right. I'm not saying I'm always right with what I say. No, I'm not always right with what I say. But fundamentally, if you actually look what this market's doing here on a daily chart, moving averages are pointing down here. You know what I mean? Moving averages are pointing down. If I bring this into a weekly chart, the moving averages are pointing down. You're getting a nice bear flag through here. And so he was saying, oh, I've bought oil because I am long-term bullish on this. Oh, it's like, I just don't get it, you know. Like, why would you buy oil down here when it's had this massive sell-off and now we're just going sideways? It's like, oh, well, it's at a good level of support, and if you want to know how we found that level of support, then pay me. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man, seriously. It's like we have this level of really good support, and it caused a level of levelization or something, some crap. And I looked at it, I'm like, you seriously? You gotta teach people this? Like, guys, I teach you guys fundamental basics and fundamental things that actually work on the markets really well. If the market's gone sideways like this and then it's had a big drop down like that, okay, a big drop down, and then it's gone sideways and we've got both moving averages pointing down, I don't care what you're doing, who you are, what your name is. You know what I mean? Especially if you look at the weekly chart, this weekly chart here, especially if the market's broken past that trend line there, you can see how it's now rejecting it. It's like, oh, well, I've bought it down here and I'm a long-term buy and hold, and then he's hurting real bad right now. The market's down about 20%, and he's like, oh, I'm holding it on to next year. And it's like, come on, man. And that's what I'm saying to you guys, okay? Read the market for what it's saying, okay? Read the market for what it's saying. So what is oil saying right now? Simple basic analysis, right? Ran up, made a peak, came down, made a high trough, high peak, high trough, blasted up. We then started going into a bit of a sideways channel to the high side. Then we went to a sideways channel to the downside. Okay, so okay, nothing really going here, nothing really going on here. And then suddenly, wham! Look what happened here, right? Sellers in control, little buying movement. It's like, oh, look what's happening here. Moving averages are pointing down. Sellers are major in control. We just broke past major support and resistance levels that's struggling through there. It's now starting to break down. Why would I want to be buying this? I want to be shorting this, if anything, right? And all the way down, right? So anyway, traders, that's it for me. Have an amazing weekend, and I will see you guys next week. I'm off for the weekend to start looking at some properties for myself, but of course I'll be looking at the markets tomorrow because I'm in a few trades right now, and I may be getting into more trades tomorrow morning as well too. So remember, success can be yours if you go climb it. So step up, take massive action, and face your fears today.